studying abroad is a big decision. It's a decision you take once in a lifetime. And based on the country you choose, I feel your experience is going to change entirely. So, which is the best country to study abroad? Well, the answer, my friend, is not so simple. Why? Because your preferences come into the picture, number one. What is your end goal? Do you want a quick return on investment or do you want a permanent residence? Who do you have as dependents? Your parents or your spouse? Do you want both of these parties to accompany you or are you okay with just your spouse? What is the cost of program? How much can you afford? And many, many more climate and other kinds of preferences that come into the picture, which I'll talk about later. Second, geopolitical changes come into the picture, as in which countries are actually supportive to international students right now? Where are the favorable laws and changes, and what kind of president administration is going on right now, whether you'll see some good changes in the future? All these things decide which ones are the best ones. Now, I've been in the study abroad industry for the last 7 years, and I'm going to be telling you my top 5 list of countries to go forward with for 2025. And before you even move forward, make sure you sign up on YMGrad.com so that you can actually connect with a lot more people who are on the same journey as yours. You can see what kind of universities your profile can get into, and you'll get free SOPs and samples and study materials so that you can actually get assistance in your degree and all of that for free. Now, talking about the top 5 countries. As you see, in the study abroad industry, nothing is constant. It's always changing. And you might have seen that I made this video for 2023. Certain countries like Canada were very good. They were at number 2, number 3. Right now, Canada, according to me, is at number 5 of this list. And this is where the geopolitical, stringency of the both countries, essentially whatever's going on right now, comes in. Still, Canada is at number 5 because it gives you a pathway to PR and it allows you to bring not only your spouse and children but also your parents tomorrow when you want. However, there are cons, and that's also why Canada is at number 5 right now. Number 1 con is the recent reduction to study permits that you would have seen if you've been following Canada. See, the way it worked is that Canada could not control the illegal immigration, and because it could not control the illegal immigration, what it controlled was that we'll just reduce the number of students simply because we want to penalize students for, carrying out these illegal activities. And that doesn't work well, my friend. That's just a failure on your part, that you could not fix the regimen, you could not apply the proper rules, you could not apply the proper checks so that you would keep legitimate people in. That's basically like putting the problem in the dustbin instead of actually finding a solution for it. On top of that, Canada's harsh weather and healthcare issues are just way too much, and due to all of these issues, I put Canada on number 5. Still, if you feel like studying in Canada, and it is still one of the best destinations, some of these courses might be on your mind, and these would be the good ones to study in Canada. Number 4, we're going to talk about Germany. The only reason that Germany is so good in one of the top 5 on my list is simply because of the free public universities. So if you get into a public university, you get to pay basically 0 tuition. You have access to the whole of Europe once you basically enter Germany, and you have a pathway to PR. So you can settle down and you can basically be a European person later on if you'd like. You can get a passport, and all of that is possible in Germany. But there are cons, and first one for Germany is that you must learn German. I understand that English is a pretty metropolitan language, works here, works there, works everywhere. But when you go on the journey, you will realize that a basic level of German is needed if you want to survive in the country, you want to work, you want to deal with the government. Many of these documents, many of these requirements, essentially, the processes, they require you to know a little bit of German, if not a lot of it. On top of that, I feel that Germany offers a pretty much mediocre pay on a global scale. When you look at other countries, they may not offer free education, but understand this, Germany offers free education simply because the taxes are pretty high. Due to these high taxes, of course, in future, when you pay the taxes, some other international students are going to take advantage of that, and they're going to, of course, get free access to education. And that means that you get to study once for free, but your whole life you're paying for that education again. Don't get me wrong, Germany is a great option, and there's a lot of reasons why I would still put it on number 4 on my list. If you don't have the finances, it provides you with a pathway. I feel that most other countries, you can't even get one within. So if you're thinking of studying some of these courses on your screen right now, make sure that Germany is being considered. Third one we're going to talk about is the United Kingdom. Yes, that's the UK. The pros, I don't have to talk much about it. It's English speaking. It's ranked number 1 in Europe in terms of education, home to some of the best universities worldwide. And ever since UK detached from the EU, they treat anyone else as an international student who comes from outside the UK. So whether you are from a European country or whether you're from India, Pakistan, anywhere else, both of you guys are equal now unlike what it used to be previously. Cons, very little job opportunities. So many people in the UK, and I take meetings with you guys almost on a daily basis. And taking those meetings with 3 to 4 people every day, and whenever I see someone from the UK, it's usually not for the global talent visa or basically settling down in the UK. It's usually to move to the US, Australia, somewhere else. On top of that, if you've been following UK, you know that they put additional restrictions on international students when you're bringing in dependents. On top of that, they've also increased their financial requirement. You need to show this number of finances essentially to study in the UK, which is a bit higher than it used to be. But still, even with all of those cons, UK is still pretty decent and deserves number 3 on my list. And if you're thinking of studying some of these courses, well, UK should certainly be on your list. Oh, look, the land down under. We're going to be talking about number 2 over here, Australia. Believe it or not, in 2024, Australia has risen up the ranks and become the second most popular country as a study abroad destination for international students. Australia single-handedly hosted more than 950,000 students in 2024. That's almost 1 million students who are international students, whereas US on the number 1 position did 1.5 million. So you can see that Australia is really getting close neck to neck to the US right now, and it is on. The best thing over here is that Australia provides a pathway to PR. You can actually become a resident of Australia. You can permanently settle down there. And of course, you can bring your dependents with you. You can, have almost any sort of facility they want over there. They can get access to healthcare, education, everything is possible. The only small con of Australia this year has been that it raised the minimum requirement to study in Australia to almost close to 30,000 Australian dollars, which comes up to somewhere around 16 lakh rupees in Indian rupees. With that said, Australia is still a decent option. If you're thinking of studying some of these courses, make sure that you have it on your list. Let's talk about the number 1, and that's none other than, I know I gave it away, it's the US. US, in essence, still remains to be number 1 for me because number 1, it has the highest return on investment. You study there, yes, you invest a lot of money, but what you get in return, most students will make up whatever you have invested essentially in the last 2-3 years while studying in the US in just 1.5 years. Because these salaries are some of the highest worldwide. Now, I don't know whether this will happen or not, but this is one of the pros, and Trump has promised green cards to any student who studies even a diploma in the US. So bachelor's, master's, PhDs are even, getting more green cards. Well, this is all speculation. This has not been implemented yet, but if this happens in one way or the other, even if 10% of you guys get it, I think it's a massive advantage. On top of that, there's world-class opportunities, research going on in the US, which makes it still one of the best destinations out there. There are certain cons. Number 1 is that the green card backlog is massive. People can wait 25-30 years easily as an Indian-born person essentially to get a green card. Other countries, it's still less, so it's fine. But Indians and Chinese, they face the worst of it. And finally, the H-1B is getting increasingly competitive. This year, the success rates basically show that you're getting somewhere close to the 17% of a success rate if you apply for the H-1B. Which means that, 8 out of 10 people are just getting rejections for the H-1B lottery. But with all that said, there's at least solutions to those. For H-1B, you have an alternative of O-1. For EB-2, EB-3, which takes 25-30 years to get your green card, you have the solution of EB-1, which can get it for you in 2 years or less. So a lot of alternatives are there, my friend. So if you are, my friend, thinking of studying some of these courses essentially, I think US should be on the top of your list. So that's my top 5 list this year. Make sure that you let me know in the comments down below what you think about that. I know some of you guys might have differing opinions, and honestly, I would love to know more about those things. And also make sure that you follow me on Instagram so that I keep on advising you as a family, as a brother, as a friend. I want to be there for you, and I will keep on advising you on any countries and whatever geopolitical changes keep on happening so that you are up to date and you put your money, effort, time in the right place, right country, right location. Thank you so much for watching this one, my friend. Goodbye and take care until next time.